now talking to former NFL, CFL, XFL fullback and pass rusher Ryan Mueller. What's going on, Ryan?
What's up, fellas? How are you guys?
We are good, man. And, it's so funny. I asked Speedy before we were going to do the show tonight. I said, who do we have as guest tonight? And he says, Ryan Mueller. I said, who the hell is Ryan Mueller? And he says he played in the NFL. And he was telling me a little, and I was reading a little bit about you. It's an amazing story about you, man. I mean, you've been all over the place. You played multiple positions. I mean, what is it like actually stepping foot on an NFL field and actually saying that you made it for the first time in your complete career?
Yeah, it's certainly an awesome experience. Walking into the locker room and seeing your last name on the back of a jersey is that's when you just feel like, oh my gosh, this is the moment I've been waiting for. This is the pinnacle of, your career and what every football player strives for. So certainly seeing that and having a brief opportunity was, awesome.
So I want to go back even further to your college career. So you were part of the last Big 12 championship team at Kansas State back in 2012. The last time that happened, then Oklahoma had all those streaks of winning the Big 12 than Baylor did this year. So what was that season like? What were some of your favorite experiences at K-State?
That was the year of Colin Klein getting to the Heisman Trophy, losing to, Johnny Manziel. It was kind of during that time. And was part of a really good team with a bunch of guys that you probably never heard of. We made it all the way to being ranked number 1 in the country. And we had a slip up against Baylor, who was at the time a doormat football team. They weren't who they are now, the type of program they are now with all the winning tradition they've had as of late. And we just let our foot off the gas and blew the game. We were ranked number 1 in the country, and that was the night we felt like we just totally lost, national championship hopes, because if we had won out, which we ended up winning the rest of our games, we would have been slotted for the national championship against Manti Te'o and Notre Dame, and we felt like we really had a strong team to play against Notre Dame.
You're talking about the Manti Te'o that had a secret girlfriend over there in Hawaii?
The mysterious fake girlfriend that still hasn't been found.
Yes, that guy. Yeah, I remember him very, very well.
Something like that. I never fully got the details of that because I was in San Diego the following year after he had been in the league for a few years and was well established, but it was pretty much team policy that we're not allowed to discuss those outside issues.
I'm sure we definitely got to get. We definitely have to reach out to Manti Te'o and get him on the show. That would be a must listen to. That's for sure.
Yeah,
we are talking. It's Manti Te'o's girlfriend right there.
Well, maybe if I put on a wig or some lipstick, I could say I was her.
Maybe
no, that'd be too real.
We are talking.
But I think now he's in an established relationship, I think, according to social media. I don't know, though.
Oh, well, maybe she's real or maybe she's not.
She's in the pictures this time, so.
Oh, there you go. Maybe it's a fake picture.
Yeah, there's a lot of photoshopping going on nowadays. So
that's true.
Anything's possible.
We are talking to former NFL, CFL, XFL fullback and pass rusher Ryan Mueller. Now, it says over here your birthday is April 30th. Am I right?
That's right.
Well, guess what? My birthday's April 29th, so we're fellow Tauruses, my friends.
Wow, that's right. Bulls.
That's right. We're Bulls. I'm a little bit older than you now. I mean, you're 30. I'm going to be 40 this year. So,
wow.
I mean, it's riding. It doesn't look it. I take good care of myself. I still got pecs, not boobs, so I'm good there. And you're from New Jersey. So tell us a little bit about growing up. Were you a Giant fan? Were you a Jet fan? Were you a Philadelphia Eagles fan? What type of fan were you?
So we got to get some clarity on that. I was born in Morristown, New Jersey, at Memorial Hospital. I lived there for about 6 months and then pretty much raised in Kansas City. That's where I grew up. That's home. That's where I went to high school and college at. And then when I signed on with the XFL, I played for the New York Guardians. And my first game, I got a sack in the game, and the announcer was like, "Hometown hero, Morristown, New Jersey, Ryan Mueller," and it was like, hard to claim, but hey, any good publicity from the East Coast, I'll take it.
So you're a Kansas City Chief fan, am I right?
Honestly, I just enjoy playing football, the training, the working out, all the stuff that goes into being a professional football player. I'm in love with that process.
I got you.
As far as like being into fantasy football, watching NFL games, my Sundays just don't really revolve around that.
I got you.
So I don't know where that all stems from. Maybe a mix of bitterness by not getting, more of an opportunity in the NFL that I was very fortunate enough to get, but I've never been a huge sports fan, but I love playing.
I got you.
So you, I'm a Giants fan. There's a lot of Giants fans listening. You actually got to play in the CFL with Nikita Whitlock, who used to be a fullback over there. Also played some defensive line, kind of like you, rotating around. You're an outside rusher, defensive end. He was a defensive tackle as a Giant. So what was he like as a teammate?
Yep. I love Nikita. Good dude, hard worker, a total scratcher. Does some incredible things in the weight room. His build is like nothing I've ever seen before on the football field for how short and compact and powerful and fast he is to play. The nose guard position is just like, it's incredible, honestly, to watch, and then to also run down on special teams and then be a mixture of the fullback role. Pretty amazing talent. But in the NFL, there's just so few spots, and they can find a nose guard and a 3-tech guy who's 6'5", 350 pounds, and that's all he does. That's what he has to compete with.
Tell us a little bit about your career. What you went into the NFL, you had your stake there for a little bit, and then you moved into the CFL, and then obviously the XFL. What was it like jumping from one league to another league and the competition? I know the CFL has a lot of competition. A lot of people just throw it on the rug. They don't realize the Canadian Football League is not good, but it's actually, there's so many talented players that actually, after they play in the CFL, they have played in the NFL and have been successful. What is it like jumping from one league to the other?
You nailed it. I definitely thought that originally was, the CFL talent isn't, what it really is. And to earn a starting job in the CFL is extremely difficult. Their system and their plays may not fit your style of play. And just because you're a good player in the NFL does not mean you'll be a good player in the CFL. You might get an opportunity if you were a first round draft pick 10 years ago, but if you try to go in that league and walk in that league thinking you're the best, you'll get beat out and lose a job. As far as the XFL, comparing the XFL to the NFL, I felt like the talent pool in the XFL was definitely better than the CFL, and way more of a competitive environment than the CFL because it's all American players. And I felt like the XFL game was a lot closer to what the NFL is. I think XFL to NFL is a much better stepping stone, and that our game is almost the exact same with a few minor things. But that was my overall thought on both leagues, NFL or CFL and XFL.
Let me ask you one more question. You mentioned the XFL. Are you happy that The Rock has really stepped in trying to rebuild the XFL, something that Vince McMahon put so much money into and he practically threw it away again? I think he invested another $100 million into the organization, and then he sold it to The Rock for $20 million, okay? Just think about that. $100 million to $20 million, lost $80 million on that deal. 1 year, it actually looked really good. I love the rules. rules. The new rules of the new XFL was fantastic. It was fun to watch. And then all of a sudden, who cares? Andrew Luck's father was running the organization, throws it to throws it to the Wolves, and now all of a sudden, The Rock steps in and says he wants to buy it. When you heard that, we've asked a lot of football players that play in the XFL, are you excited for the XFL, knowing that there's a guy who's an ex-NFL player, well, not ex-college player, that actually loves the game and actually wants to help the sport move forward with it?
Can you even imagine? I mean, that's the best person that could possibly represent this league. He's somebody who's going to drum up a lot of interest in the league. Has enormous connections. I mean, he's the perfect person to run this league, have passion for this league. And what player wouldn't want to be associated with any product that The Rock is going to put out on the field? Everything he does turns to gold. So he's got a great personality, somebody you definitely want to work with and work for. And, I really hope I get that opportunity.
So I want to go back to the CFL. It's of note, you played with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. We actually interviewed one of your former teammates, Jalen Addison, wide receiver, in 2017. I just wanted to note that. But my question is the cultural shift as well with Canada, going to Canada, growing up in the U.S., now moving to Canada. Hamilton is in the central part in Manitoba for the fans, just so you know. So what was the cultural shift of that like in comparison to the United States?
Hamilton, Canada is a whole lot different than Kansas. Different types of people, very nice. A little tougher town than where I'm from for sure, but a lot of passionate football fans and great atmosphere. I had a great time in Canada. Couldn't really speak too much on the culture because I was just all about football while I was there and trying to earn a job. So as far as talking about personalities between CFL guys and NFL guys, that I could immediately tell the difference. American football players, I mean, we are bred to be football players. It's our passion. And yes, we're really close with our teammates, but at the same time, that's who we're competing for jobs. So there can be a frenemy, type of atmosphere in the locker room at some point. But the Canada guys are always in good spirits and, oh man, I hope the best guy wins. It's totally different dynamic of relationship and friends, where American football players, we are egomaniacs and, passionate about earning this job and doing whatever it takes to get that job.
You kidding me? You come into New York and you say, "May the best man win."
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody pull out a pipe and beat you on the head with it to try to win that job.
Exactly. Got to have a lot more grit for sure.
Absolutely, especially here when everybody's trying to win that job. Everybody's trying to take your job away from you. It doesn't matter how good of friends you are. You're not friends when you step on that field.
Yeah.
We are talking to former NFL, CFL, XFL fullback and pass rusher Ryan Mueller. Now, Ryan, we talk about the fullback position and how it's transitioned into so many different positions. A lot of players, and it's a dying position, really is in the NFL. There, how many great fullbacks are in the NFL? 2, 3, and how many teams actually use the fullback position as a position now in the NFL? So when you look at the position that you play, and obviously you're a pass rusher too, especially moving from one NFL to the XFL and the CFL, did you ever see yourself as a total fullback, or did you always see yourself maneuvering into another position?
I certainly see myself as a pass rusher. I feel like that's my bread and butter. That's what I'm good at. But in the NFL, the more you can do, the better, because it's such a numbers game, limited roster space, so on and so forth. But look at the teams that have been in the Super Bowl the last couple of years. Kansas City Chiefs, New England Patriots. They both had staple fullbacks, Anthony Sherman and Devlin for the Patriots. I mean, those are some hard-nosed, tough, smart football players. And both of those organizations have had a lot of success over the last couple of years. So it's a position that certainly should be looked at more in my opinion.